Welcome, everyone. I'm Spiro. Thanks for tuning in. If this is not an emergency broadcast, I don't know what is. Now, for those of you who have been following me for some time, know that I've never been one to fearmonger. It's not now, nor has it ever been my message or my mission. But right now, we are literally witnessing the destruction of America by design. And this didn't just happen overnight. This has been a long-standing plan in the works. This country was already bought and sold a long time ago. This country has already been looted a long time ago, and the people shackled through a debt-based system of slavery, who have also been divided through a sophisticated propaganda machine, weaponized and turned against the people. And now we are seeing the start of the fireworks.
Protests are gaining momentum. We're seeing just a standoff there between police and protesters. We've certainly seen it turn violent with several cars, police vehicles that have been torched there. Many buildings around the city have also gone up in flames. And this is happening in around 30 states around America.
Many cities across the United States are in complete chaos right now as rioters are taken to the streets and either overwhelming the police, or sometimes we see the police are being ordered to stand down and let this organized chaos rule the day. Now, this is just another example, a perfect example of problem, reaction, solution. We have seen this story play out time and time again in other countries, and people here didn't give a damn at the time because it wasn't happening to them. Organized destabilization operations, which preceded what we were told was regime change because of an oppressive dictator. Well, now the weapons of war and these covert tactics of war have come home to roost. And now President Trump has ordered the Pentagon to prepare the U.S. military to deploy domestically inside the United States. Domestically, here in our borders. Now, I know that many of you are thinking that this is unconstitutional. The president cannot do this. He has no right to do this. Well, he claims that under the Insurrection Act, he has every right to do this. And the military is on standby as we speak, if they haven't already been deployed. I don't know if you've seen the videos out there tonight, but it is getting worse and worse every night. And people are going to welcome the military with open arms at this point. As the violence continues to escalate, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the military in the streets of America very soon, even possibly as soon as this weekend, as they have been ordered to be ready to deploy in as little as 4 hours. Now, the headlines are saying that Trump could deploy the military to Minneapolis, but do not be fooled. Once this can of worms is opened up, it will spread across the nation very quickly, and people will beg for it at this point. And if you see the videos out there that are circulating tonight, it is extremely disturbing. Most of these videos are on Twitter. They don't last very long on places like YouTube, as they are filled with extreme violence. As we see here, the U.S. military is currently monitoring protests in at least 7 different states. Now, they would not be monitoring these protests if they weren't already drafting plans to in preparation to deploy there. I'm not saying they are for sure, but the writing is on the wall at this point. And today we have U.S. Attorney General Bob Barr admit that these protests are being organized. He basically insinuated that this is an organized attack against America, not from Russia or something like that, but basically from within.
Unfortunately, with the rioting that is occurring in many of our cities around the country, the voices of peaceful protest are being hijacked by violent radical elements. Groups of outside radicals and agitators are exploiting the situation to pursue their own separate and violent agenda. In many places, it appears the violence is planned, organized, and driven by anarchic and left extremist groups, far left extremist groups, using Antifa-like tactics, many of whom travel from outside the state to promote the violence.
To me, these operations have the calling card of George Soros and CIA-type operations in this, from everything we're seeing right here. These are textbook destabilization operations that we've seen take place time and time again. Today, we also had officials in Minnesota state that they are using essentially contact tracing methods to track rioters, as they claim that 80% of the rioters in their state are from out of state, and they're coming in an organized effort to create chaos.
As we've begun making arrests, we have begun analyzing the data of who we have arrested and begun actually doing what you would think is almost very similar to our COVID. It's contact tracing. Who are they associated with? What platforms are they advocating for?
Now, I bet you thought that contact tracing was only going to be used to fight the virus, right? Well, probably not. I'm sure some of you have, everyone watching probably has seen through this already, but it sure didn't take long for these new normals, these new methods to become the new normals, as they're already being used against the public, the general public. But don't worry, it's only to catch the bad guys. And you know what? The people are going to welcome it. Go on Twitter and watch these videos, and you might think, you know what? Maybe we do need the military in here, because it is getting ugly out there. Now, I just had Richie Allen on my show today, and we did a deeper dive in this whole topic, this whole scenario on a macro level. Make sure you guys tune in that report and check it out. And also follow me on Twitter if you want to see some of this crazy footage. I don't put out all of it. Some of the stuff is just too graphic, and it's hard to even watch some of this stuff, to be honest with you. The extreme ultra-violence that is taking place. And we see that this country and the civil unrest is just growing and growing, and the police-state response, it's there, but at the same time, there's a big lack. I mean, the police can't be everywhere all the time, and you know what? Do we really want them to be? Well, of course, in a time of crisis, right? But that, again, plays this conundrum, this dilemma, basically, okay, where problem, reaction, solution comes into play here. Okay, the cities are being overrun by gangs and criminals, and they're looting and beating people and even beating cops and setting things on fire, all this crazy stuff. So people want order, right? They want it to stop, right? Well, if the police aren't up to it and the National Guard isn't up to it, so what then? The military? Well, what happens if the military can't do it? What then? The United Nations? I mean, this is a slippery slope, and no doubt about it, even government officials at this point are clearly stating that this is being organized, okay? This is not grassroots. This is not because a policeman killed George Floyd, okay? As much as the media will tell you that these protests and these riots are because of George Floyd being murdered by the police or being killed by the police, there are organizations and groups who are trying to capitalize on this situation. It's divide and conquer. It's organized chaos theory. I mean, it is unbelievable what is taking place right now, and it's happening very, very quickly. We have entered phase 2. I truly believe that this is phase 2 of a takeover operation. Yes, the U.S. seems to be the main target right now, but this is a global takeover operation. If you've not already started to prepare and get ready, I would like to think that it's never too late, but surely time is running out. I'm not trying to scare everybody or anybody at all right now, but you really have to be prepared, be dependent from the system. If you think that this is bad right now, imagine how bad it would get if and when food shortages start to take place, as they are shutting down food packaging plants, all across the country. Food processing plants have been shut down. I had a great interview with Ice Age Farmer about this. He's doing some great work over there. Please go check it out. Very critical times that we are living in right now. Do not be dependent upon this system. Global governance is basically knocking at our door right now. The time is now to get prepared and be ready, and do not be a victim. I'm Spiro. Stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.